So part two is I'd like to point out about some of the bigger crowd that happened as the day went. So in the beginning, it was a small crowd earlier in the day, like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock as the day. That was a smaller crowd of people that were able to come. Um, the crowd did not really get that big until that maybe what if you've seen on TV and news reports and things like that until after 7 o'clock because there was a planned protest that was started at 7 down at the Red Wagon in downtown Spokane, and that crowd marched to join the rest of us that were up there, and it was all peaceful. It was much larger when they joined, but I will tell you that for those of us that had been there for 4 hours or 5 hours or 6 hours, like some people had been, um, it was it was nice to see some like reinforcements and have other voices because our voices were getting hoarse from shouting and demanding things and standing there, and people were getting tired and hot. So it was great to have kind of other people coming, and it also felt impactful to have that many people be peaceful and stand there. And we stood in front of the Spokane police, and everyone there was peaceful. The only reason that they threw the pepper spray, the OC bombs or whatever those are called, the pepper spray, the only reason they threw those was to push us back away from the doors so they could get the kids out. They did that 3 times in order to clear the space and make a bigger space. They literally had about a half of a block of space at one point, probably about 8:30. They could have taken the kids out at that point because but they probably were afraid that people would like charge and this and that, which I don't think anyone would have. But and I understand their thinking, so I'm not faulting them on that, but they had plenty of room to take them out. There was no violence from anyone on the protest side at all. I mean, the rubber bullets that were shot at protesters were completely unnecessary. No one was charging them. Literally, I was standing 3 feet from an officer talking to him, offering him snacks, water, pizza. We all were. So, there was no need even for, you know, the any of the pepper spray, any of the rubber bullets that they were doing. Now, I will say this. After say like 8 o'clock, as things hit more on the news because it was going live on the news and things like that because I was getting texts, we were all getting texts from people. A lot of what I would call opportunistic influencers tried to show up and or have their cameras and all this and that, and it's like, look, I get it, and I think it's important for documentation, but you know stop sticking your camera in people's face and your microphone in people's face and trying to get like a little sound bite or whatever when you've only been there like literally like 5 minutes. And you know what, if this interests you, why don't you volunteer for stuff? Why don't you become a part of the volunteers that organize protests or help with the Latino community? I mean, there's better ways to spend your time than just to try to make yourself an influencer on TikTok or Instagram or whatever. I mean, and before you say, oh well, that's what you're doing, that's not what I'm doing. I could give a shit about any of that. I'm doing it because I feel like we need to document this before it gets spun by everyone, and that there was damage. And guess what? There wasn't damage. I literally was one of the people that was picking up garbage as the day went. We picked up all of our garbage. We literally brought garbage cans from the park and we put all of our garbage in it. If there was any garbage that was left at the end of the night after the police started like throwing their, smoke bombs and things like that, or whatever those things are called, of course, like people are running, so they're probably like dropping their water bottle and things like that. Yeah, there probably was some garbage, but in my opinion, that's caused by the Spokane police because everyone, and including the organizers that that were, and really not organizers, but the people who were helping to organize this, were saying like pick up your garbage, stay on the sidewalk, stay out of the road, like be peaceful, don't engage, don't run. We were making all of those comments to people, for all of us that were there trying to keep order. So, of course, like there's probably water bottles left over. I mean, I would run and leave my water bottle if I had a big smoke bomb like launched right in my face. So, I'm sure that's what happened. Um, but I'm going to end this with just a little summary of kind of the late night sightings that I saw as I walked to my car with a couple friends. One is there was a red van that had been parked that they were originally going to, the ICE was trying to take the kids out in. And as we walked by the soccer field, which was behind the ICE um, facility where the game was going on, we saw a tow truck hauling that away with a massive flat tire, and they were dragging the flat tire, and it was just making so much smell and smoke. So it kind of was like a fitting end to the night. And then as we approached the main street where Spokane police had it blocked off, we got to see a $500,000 armored vehicle that the city, or I don't even know who owns that. Maybe the city, maybe the county, maybe the National Guard. But it's like, yeah, an armored vehicle for like literally like middle-aged men and women, and protesting this. I mean, come on, standing there doing nothing, eating pizza and offering snacks. Like, what a joke. So before you like look at the images, and the same thing goes with LA, listen to the people who were there and understand that a lot of this is for clicks and for views and all that kind of bullshit. And the truth of the matter is, most Americans see the lack of due process on people who are here seeking asylum or trying to become a citizen as a complete affront on our belief as an American, and it will not happen in our names. And remember, if we don't stop it here, it's going to continue to happen. Who will be next? I don't know. I mean, you think it might not ever come to your doorstep, but I think it's coming to all of our doorsteps. So stay safe and, stay vigilant. Thanks. Bye.